Hey, I'm Terry G. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Take a second, please subscribe. Take another second and hit that like button. What I'm going to talk about today is some of my experiences with step 5. Minute to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrong. I'm going to talk about my experience and what I got out of the step. What did I receive from doing a step 5? First of all, I just want to say that doing a step 5 takes a lot of courage. People get overwhelmed with step 5, and I get it. I get it. It's daunting. You're putting your life on the table, sort of thing. The good, the bad, the ugly, and you need to trust the individual that you're telling it to, that they're going to never say anything about it. And also, you have to find somebody who you feel comfortable with. And I understand all that. I get it. I was at a meeting one time, and there was a newcomer there, and she was saying that her sponsor revealed her 4th step to somebody. Imagine that. Imagine that. Somebody doing that. People have told me their step 5. I will die. I will die with what they told me. And let me tell you something. I've heard some pretty crazy stuff, but you know, we are alcoholics, we are addicts, and we get ourselves in some of the most craziest situations. Well, under the illusion or under alcoholism's spell. We really do. So if you think that you are unusual or you're unique, maybe your occurrences are, maybe your events are a little bit, but in the end, we are all the same. We really are. And I know that from years and years of experience working with others, being in the program and understanding that as much as we feel different, we're more alike than we are different. So for myself, one of the main criterias for me to do my 5th step with my sponsor, and that's who I did it with, my sponsor, is that I thought if I did it with my sponsor and he liked me after, I wasn't that bad after all. And I know that sounds kind of corny, but it's the truth. But you don't have to do a 5th step with a sponsor. You can do it with a clergyman, a minister, a priest, a counselor, a therapist. You can even do it with your best friend if you want. If they were, if you trust them with your secrets, sort of thing, right? You can. Nothing says anywhere that we have to do it with a person in Alcoholics Anonymous. The only reason the benefits of it and the benefits of doing it with a religious person of sort is that they'll understand what you're doing and they'll understand what you're trying to do here and trying to accomplish with it, especially somebody who has worked the 12 steps. They'll definitely know what you're trying to accomplish and they'll help you out, and maybe they'll even share some of their occurrences with you while they were drinking, sort of the crazy stuff that they did. And that's one of the things I got out of it with my sponsor. I shared with him and he shared back with me. So he made me feel like I was belonged and also that I wasn't as crazy as I thought. And when we move along with our 5th step, when we sort of get it done and we look back, it says if there's anything you've left out, if there's anything you left out in your 5th step, did you tell your sponsor, whoever you chose to tell, did you tell them everything? And I went under that criteria, that standard. I didn't tell everything. I kept the very dark stuff to myself because I said to myself, I'll die with it. So I'm at work, I'm working there. I was working in a fast food joint. I'm working there. I said, gee, I got to call my sponsor. His name was Dave. He was a terrific guy. I called him up and I said, Dave, I got some things I need to share with you that I left out. I'll see you on the weekend. He said, no, Terry, I'll be there after work to pick you up and you can tell me tonight. I'm like, give me a break. My sponsor at that time was very hands-on. He taught me a lot and he showed up that night and I was going to tell him the big deal. What is the big deal? And I'm not going to share the big deal with you on this video because it carried a lot of shame and guilt. And it was a secret that I would never reveal in public. I would never reveal. It's something I'm totally ashamed of. Not anymore, but at the time. So I don't know if you know Whitby, Oshawa area, but you drive down Highway 2 and right at Dixon Road and Highway 2. There's a traffic light. And we stopped there. And I turned to him, I go, Dave, I got something to tell you. And I couldn't get it out. And the light turned green and we moved forward. And I tried to get it out. We came to the next one. I think it was Gerard Road, and we stopped. And I told him, I said, Dave, this is what happened. This is what took place. And I'm crying and I'm freaking out. I feel terrible about even saying it. I felt terrible. And he turned to me, and I tell you, you get spiritual awakenings, all the time in a 12-step program, and this was one of them. He turned to me and he says, Terry, I can relate to that. That's what he said to me. He said, I can relate to that. And he told me his story of similar event that happened to him while he was under the influence of alcohol. And I looked at him, I go, really? And he goes, yeah, really. And man, oh man, talking about feeling like I belonged, feeling like I wasn't as crazy as I thought I was. And I wasn't the only one on earth that did things that they were ashamed of or felt guilty about. A big relief, a big, gigantic relief. Some of the benefits I received from my step 5 was obviously emotional and mental relief, obviously, right? I learned through doing a 4th and a 5th that there was a pattern. I could see a pattern in my behavior. I could see it, what was taking place. They say that we often get the ball rolling ourselves. That is really true. Me, start the ball rolling. I made decisions based on whatever, selfishness, sex, greed, whatever it was, fear, hurt, that put me in a situation that wasn't good for me or wasn't good for anybody else. I learned that. I felt like I belonged to the world. I felt like I was slowly coming back into society, because let me explain first. When I came in to recovery, I thought I was unique, like a lot of us. I also was very lonely and felt like an outsider because my emotions were so intense, and my guilt and shame and my secrets are so intense. I withdrew a lot when it came to events, and I stood back. It's like if you really knew me, you wouldn't like me. It was one of those, if you really knew me, you wouldn't like me. You would think I'm weird. And that's the way I felt about myself. Very low self-esteem. But after doing a 5th step, and my sponsor still talking to me the next day, it was good. It was very, very good for me. It started me on a journey of discovery and a journey of rebuilding my life. It really did. It was incredible. If you do a step 5, you will probably feel pretty good at the end of it. You may feel a little bad at the end of it, but for me, I felt a little good, a little bad sort of thing. It was very emotional and it was very draining. The whole thing took about 3 or 4 hours, but I did it. I did it at a meeting in Oshawa called the Alano Club. I did it there. After the meeting, we sat in the hall and we just went to it. My sponsor, Dave, helped me sort out the 3rd column, what it affected. He helped me with that a little bit as we moved forward. And we did it, and it was terrific. And another thing I just want to share with you before I shut this video down is that the 5th step really taught me a couple of things. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to tell people the way things are, the truth. It's okay. No one is going to, well, I shouldn't say nobody, but the people who care for me and love me are not going to judge me or put me down for it. Being vulnerable as a man, as a human being, is normal. And to cry a little bit and to be upset about things that I have done and feel shame and guilt is normal. The thing is that I didn't know how to get rid of it or didn't know how to deal with it. So that was one of the things, being vulnerable. The next thing is it made me responsible for the damage I'd done. I felt that I was responsible in a healthy way for harms done to other people. I knew what I had to do after that because I read the steps a lot. I knew what I had to do. It makes me responsible. It makes me accountable for my life. responsible for my past, seeing the patterns, seeing what I have to do in life to rebuild my life. But it also put me on the road to accountability for my life. And that was important. Before I blamed everybody, it was everybody else's fault. But like I say, when I did the fifth, and I did it, as best I can. I've done a number of fourth and fifth steps over the years. I've been in recovery for many years. I've done a number of steps and a number of fourths. I've done a number of fifth steps. But the one thing about it helped me sort things out and see my place in the situation. Quit the blame game. But blame game. It's easy to point the finger at people and make other people responsible for the way I act. But something, that's a cop-out, and that will leave me and maybe leave you in everlasting craziness. Once I started taking accountability for my life, understanding my life, I had to start taking responsibility for the way I think, for my emotions, and my well-being. So it really helped me with that. Also, gave me a strong reassurance that I was working the program properly. I was doing it. I felt a sense of accomplishment, and I was willing to take the risk, and I felt like I belonged in this world, and I belonged to the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I really belonged. I was at home. I did it. I felt like, wow, I'm working these steps. I'm doing what I can do, and I'm feeling good about it. And I just want to leave you with one last thing, and I think it's really important, is that before I did a fourth and fifth, it's really hard to talk about a fourth and fifth, a fifth without talking about a fourth sort of thing. People understand what I'm talking about in this video anyways, when I talk about it. But the reality of it is that before I did the steps and, before I did it, and the only reason I did them because I was so full of guilt and shame, and my head was going to pop off if I didn't do something about my life in the way of a confession. Like step 5 is it's like a confession. People have been doing that for years. We're not new to that. The one thing about it that really, really stood out is that before my behavior, my relapses were common. My behavior was negative. I didn't quite understand what was going on. I thought I was broken, all those kind of things, right? I was relapsing a lot. I was just outside of the program. I really was out, doing things my way still. I don't know I can't really explain it, but I wasn't too sane, to be honest with you. I was still pretty nutty. But since I did those steps, I have never relapsed. I have never went back out after doing a honest fourth, and an honest fifth. It gave me the foundation and the understanding and the ability to move on with my life without the use and abuse of alcohol. Telling somebody our secrets is powerful. It's not a cop-out. It's not a liability. It is an investment in our mental, emotional, and spiritual health. It really is. So not carrying those secrets, not thinking that we're going crazy off the booze can be, what I'm trying to say is when we tell people what's going on in our lives, it's amazing how the floodgates open and we start seeing life on a different plane. We really do. There was a lot more work to do after my fifth step, because I was pretty crazy. I really was. So I had to get some outside help. I had to, really stay close to the program. My sponsor, I was always calling up. I needed a lot of guidance. I needed a lot of help when it came to my mental and emotional health. My inability to function with life on life's terms came after many years of being in sobriety. I figure about 10 to 12 years, believe it or not. I don't want to discourage anybody, but it did. But every day I was sober, I was getting better. I really was. So your fifth step, pick the right person. Pick the person that you feel comfortable with and you can trust, and you will see that your life will change. Don't hesitate. Don't hold back. Just do it. Just do the fifth step. Don't wait until the perfect time, because there's never any perfect time to do any step. The perfect time is right now. Right now is the right time to do this step, okay? My name is Terry G. This is an alcohol-free life channel where we learn to live sober one day at a time. I'm in my car. I did a video. Excuse me. I did a video and the sound didn't work. So I had to do another one because I'm leaving. I'm going away in a bit, just going on a little holiday. And you know, whatever. I talk too much. My name is Terry G. This is an alcohol-free life channel where we learn to live sober one day at a time. If you could take a second, please subscribe. Take another second and hit that like button. God bless. Ciao for now. And hey, see ya. It's getting hot in this car.